Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. You ought to know by now, but for anyone that's listening for the first time, I am your host Tom Howe, and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. We're shaking things up a bit for this special edition of NEWSWAVE though. Instead of our usual roundup, we're bringing you something a little different and a lot more mini. That's because over the bank holiday weekends, the Chaos Radio team hit the road for Pentewan Beach and the 30th anniversary edition of the Cornish mini club's Riviera Run. Soaking up the atmosphere and chatting with a whole host of interesting characters, from proud mini owners all the way through to authentic Viking warriors. Honestly, stay with me on this one. So buckle up, here's our best bits from the Riviera Run and the little bit of chaos that we lent to it. NEWSWAVE. Now, if you think minis are just cute little cars, think again. We bumped into Alex, who turned up fully suited and booted in Union Jack everything. And then there's Skinny Kieth, a bag of bones sat in the passenger seat. And no, that's not just me being rude. NEWSWAVE.
So for the benefit of people on the radio that can't see the car in front of me, or probably more importantly your suit, can you just tell me a little bit about who you are, where you've come from and what you're doing here this weekend, please?
So my name's Alex, I'm coming up to being 36 years young, and I've brought with me today my Mini Roadster. It's a little bit different by the fact that it's actually got a Vauxhall Nova engine hiding underneath the bonnet. I actually found this car in a building site 3 years ago, parked next to a Renault 5 Turbo, a Mark 1 Evo and a Mark 1 Subaru Impreza, and the chap wanted 50 grand for the lot, and unfortunately at the time I was saving up for a house, so I chose to buy the Mini because that's all I could really afford. And as you'll probably notice, again for the benefit of the listeners, it's got no roof at all. There's not even a cabriolet top to go with it, so it's great in the summer like it is today, but certainly not so much in the winter.
And I've got to ask, your suit as well.
It's quite subtle. It's a full Union Jack suit that I'm wearing today to go with the red, white and blue of the bank holiday weekend. Again, nice little Amazon buy, £25 if you have a look for it. I was a little bit slimmer when I bought it. I will admit the shoulders are a little bit tight after doing the hang go over by the army shack there. I was doing the hanging challenge, and I did feel my shirt start to rip beneath my shoulders.
So one thing that I'm getting from most people, most mini owners today, is that they are so customizable. This is an extension of your personality as well, I take it?
One of the minis, the things about minis that you have to appreciate is if you are driving them, you will notice people turning their heads, looking and pointing at any point in time, and it will be people telling stories about their parents or their grandparents, or we used to have one of those, and it's the memories that you have with them, it's the fun you have with them, and like you say, very customizable. Each one does reflect, everyone's personality. Obviously mine is about as subtle as a brick through a window, I will admit. You can hear it coming a mile off. And if you have a look around today, you won't find two minis the same in any way, shape or form. There are no two minis here in any way, the shape or form that are the same.
And where have you come from today? And as well as that, is this your first Riv Run?
So I've been coming to Riv Run on and off now for about 15 years. This is I think this is my sixth one that I've come down to. Each time I've come down here, it's always been in a different car. I'm not too far now. I'm only up in Saltash, but I was originally coming down from Taunton in the middle of Somerset. So it's a little bit easier nowadays to come down here.
So this isn't your first Mini?
No, this is actually my 20th Mini. I know that, at 36 years young, that's a lot of cars to have owned, but I will admit at one point in my fleet I did have 5 of these things. I had more garage than I did house, and again, the missus wasn't too happy about that. Not gonna lie.
What is it? What is it about the Mini that brings this out in people?
So again, my mum always had Minis. She had Minis again from when they first came out on the road, and it's something that I grew up with. The fact that, yes, again, while I'm in my beautiful suit, you will not be able to see that I'm 6'4", which a lot of people would assume you can't get in and out of a Mini if you're over 6 foot. I could tell you otherwise. There is a reason why they're called Minis, because when you finish driving them, you get out and you go, oh, Mini. It really blooming hurts. But you enjoy it for the fun, the satisfaction, the smiles that you put on other people's faces. It's just all fun of the fair. That's all fun of the fair.
So thank you very much for coming down to see us. If you have any questions, anything at all, come and see us afterwards and we can have a chat.
Tell me about what's going on here.
Okay, so Skinny Kieth is the mascot of Save the Wave. He's not the most talkative of chaps, but that works well as a passenger. He gets some really good reactions at like traffic lights. Whenever people pull up, they suddenly notice there's a skeleton sitting there. I used to be able to make his head turn, so you can turn and look at people.
So connected to your steering wheel or something?
Well, I'm trying to get a left-hand drive car so I can put him in the driver's seat with his own steering wheel, and that'll really mess people up.
Tell me about Save the Wave. What's it all about?
Save the Wave is the ethos behind all Mini ownership. Rule 1, obviously, park next to another Mini, which we're doing. Saving the Wave is all about being friendly, keeping the ethos alive, waving at other Minis and letting people out at junctions. We pay it forward as well, like if you're at a drive-through, if there's a Mini behind you, buy them a coffee. So you never know how it's going to affect someone's day or change it, do you?
Where have you come from today?
Nottingham.
Nottingham, okay. And is this your first time at Riv Run?
Second time down here, first time with Save the Wave. We've only been running about 6 years, so.
And I'm asking people all across the site today, what is it that's made the Mini so iconic and special over so many years?
I think the majority of it is it's quite a quirky car. It's always had that like uniqueness about it. It's very interchangeable. You can pretty much make it your own, and it becomes an extension of your personality. But more importantly, it's the community that comes with it. We get a lot of support. We give a lot of support, and we try to go out there and just make people smile, make people happy. And I think it's one of the only cars that does that. Lots of other cars throw a wave out there. I've got the same car as you, but the ethos of Minis it's ingrained in most people. It should be there, and it's something that we do to keep pushing it, really. It's just a quirky little car, isn't it? It's they're cute, fun, collectible, and you can change just about every aspect of it.
Tell me about yours. Is this your first Mini?
This is Mini number 16.
16?
Yeah, this is Mr. Bone Jangles, because obviously it's Skinny Kieth's car.
Yeah, I'm with you, yeah.
R52 supercharged, unfortunately an automatic, but we'll let that one slide. But roof down, Cornwall, what more do you need?
Absolutely. And are you part of a community? Can people sort of follow you, what you do? Are you on Facebook and that sort of thing?
Just about hanging in there. Save the Wave is running at 9,632 members. We've got 38 countries, and we are growing, but hopefully we're going to hit the million mark by 2030. That's what we're aiming for.
Fantastic. Well, have a great rest of your Riviera Run. What are you involved in? Are you doing the, show and shine? Are you doing the cruise tomorrow? All of it?
Absolutely not. There's no point in. I used to clean Minis for a living. I don't anymore, as you can probably see, but we are definitely going for a run out tomorrow. It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? So.
Oh, and enjoy it. Well done.
Fantastic show. Thank you.
NEWSWAVE. And just when you thought things couldn't get more colourful, here comes a reggae-themed Mini that caught the eye of our resident reggae enthusiast, Pete G. NEWSWAVE.
So the thing is I really like reggae. That's obviously my favourite genre. And I got a Mini a couple of years ago. This isn't the first one. I had a black one, a normal Cooper. And sadly, it failed its MOT. So I got some tape and I started on this one. But yeah, it's basically this one is called Hazel. These cars, the wheels were from another Mini Girls car that I bought and ended up selling because it was definitely for the scrap heap. But But yeah, once mine failed its MOT, it just had to be done. My other one, so I've got other stickers going up the side, and yeah, there's more to do on this one, definitely. There's loads more red, gold and green to be had in this one.
That's just it, isn't it? They're so unique. You look around, there's so many different, I suppose it's like an extension of the person, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There's so many different little pieces that you can then, like, so even earlier on we put the yellow gator on the handbrake, and then like the chrome at the top I've now just covered in a bit of red tape. All this is tape. It's all just like electrical tape basically, but yeah, it's just like the more you look, the more you see that you can just add a little bit of colour to it, and it changes the sort of whole look of the car.
What do you think it is that makes a Mini so customisable like this? You wouldn't get this on a Ferrari necessarily, or an old Rolls Royce or something, would you?
I think the great thing is the first Minis, they were such a sort of like family car that people, like, you know, just going around the country, going around the world in them, they've all got like a little upgrade, and then all of a sudden someone else sees the upgrade and goes, oh, I can do something with that but make it better. And I think because they're such a classic car, and because there's such a sort of like cult following behind them, even the new ones, they've kept the little bits and pieces. There's always something that you see on someone else's car that definitely isn't on any other car.
Have you got your eye on any other Minis today? Have you seen anything else that you like? Have you picked up anything?
There's a green and white one somewhere. A green and white one of these. It's got like green, and then it's got like a couple of numbers on it and white striping around it. But it's gorgeous. But the thing with these shows is there's always something. There's always another little line of something somewhere, and you know, yeah, there's always inspiration to be had.
NEWSWAVE. We also caught up with Sam, fresh off the battlefield, quite literally, after swinging swords and entertaining crowds as part of the Viking reenactments. Visually, it's spectacular, and there are some really powerful messages and emotions behind it all. Joe Allen and I headed into camp to find out more. NEWSWAVE.
Right, we are here at the Cornish Mini Club Riviera Run 2025, the 30th anniversary edition, and we are here in the camp of one of the biggest draws, actually, aside from all of the minis that are behind us. We are in the Viking camp here this afternoon. I'm joined by one of the members here this afternoon. Could you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and who you're representing today, please?
Sure. My name's Sam, and I've travelled down from Bath myself, but our group is based in Bristol, and we've come. Our group is called Drengskapper, Medieval Combat and Living History. And we've come down to join one of our allied groups, who are Brederedh Cornvii, who are based very locally to here. They've invited us down here this weekend, and also we came down and joined them last weekend. And they are medieval, our Viking era combat group here. And yeah, we've come to join them, fight with them, and feast with them, and enjoy the weekend.
Amazing. We've got beautiful weather here, but for the benefit of people who might not understand what you just said, what exactly is it that you're doing here and that you do, and all this group of people here are celebrating and marking?
Okay, so we are, we are a very interesting people with a very interesting hobby. This is essentially a hobby. So it's people who are interested in history, people who are interested in craft, people who are interested in socialising with like-minded people, but also a very large part of what we do is we do combat. So we do what's called Eastern combat, which is, it's not it's a sport is basically what it is, as in some reenactment combat you'll see at your local event, castle or whatever, whether it's jousting or fighting, they're kind of acting for the public. But what we do is we do competitive fighting. So there are teams all over the UK, and there are teams all over Great Britain, and there are teams all over Europe and in fact the world. And we go to events, this one here, where you've got two groups coming together to compete. And then we'll also fight at bigger events where there are lots of groups, and then we'll go abroad and fight. Well, I've fought with 750 people on the battlefield at Wolin on the Baltic coast, Poland, the historic site of Jomsburg. So yeah, what you've really got is nerds who like fighting, violent nerds, and we get together to celebrate. Our particular branch is Viking age, so 793 to 1066, and we are recreating Scandinavian raiders and traders in England during that period of time.
Amazing. It really is fantastic, and it's so authentic as well. I mean, look, you've really immersed yourself in the world. For the benefit of people that can't see this on the radio, we're in the middle of, well, quite an authentic Viking camp here as well. What can you tell me about the setting that we find ourselves in?
Well, we aim for as high a level of authenticity as is possible, really, which is quite extraordinary when you think we're in the middle of a car rally. So we're surrounded by motor cars. You know, I'm talking into a microphone. But so what we try and do is we try and fight and live and eat and craft, sleep, camp in a way that is as close to a historic representation of what was going on in the Viking Age as we possibly can, really. And for that we research documents, wood carvings, tapestry, drawings, descriptions by Christians, particularly Christian monks of the time, because the Vikings were an oral people. They didn't write stuff down other than the runes. So yeah, basically the idea is we're trying to be as authentic as possible, and sometimes at some events when it isn't a car rally, and of course this is brilliant, we love it here, we love the cars, we love the beach, but sometimes we go into the countryside and the public will come in during the day and visit and see what we're doing, but then when they go home we are left in a historic bubble and there's nothing allowed. These are my favourite events where there's nothing and you can really pretty much time travel back to the Viking Age.
How does that feel? Because it takes you away from all the, I don't know what you do for a day job or what these people do sort of day to day, but at these events it must really transport you and feel quite pure, I imagine.
Yeah, I find it hugely therapeutic to get back to nature, and the Norse who travelled around Europe and around the world during the Viking Age. They were pagans, and so they were very attached to the land, to it for their food, but also for a lot of their more spiritual side was linked to the land, and nature plays a huge part in the movement of the seasons, really, if I'm honest, because it was linked to their survival, because if you don't have a good summer you may not survive, and if you have a bad winter you may not survive, so you become very, very linked to the land, which I think we're kind of divorced from now, because you can go down the supermarket and buy chicken, you know. So yeah, to get into the countryside, to hear the birds, to really be living off the land, and we do eat historically, sit round the fire in the evening, and to sleep under linen tents. It's a really wholesome experience that connects you to nature and actually connects you to other people as well. We're all looking at phones, we're all looking at tablets and computers, and there's none of that here.
Absolutely. I'm going to pull on some of your knowledge now. What are some of the items that we can find around the camp? Some of the specific things that maybe you hold dear or that are really special within the group?
Right, okay, well, none of this is mine, but it's because I've just sat at Brederedh Cornvii's table, but there's interesting things all around me. There's the weapons we fight with, so I'll reach over, there you go. This is a Peterson type. Oh, I don't want to get it wrong. This is one of the steel swords we fight with, replica of a Viking Age sword. You'll notice it's, if you look in there, but it's blunted. But other than that, this is a replica of a sword. We fight with steel, and we don't do drawn blows. There's other things around me, axes. There's a sax there, or a sayax. I'm wearing Vikinger or Norse clothes. I'm wearing a tunic, roos pants. I'm wearing Hedeby boots. I'm wearing a Mjolnir because I am a Norse pagan, and these are representations of Thor. My knife, my bag, our linen tents, our cooking apparatus, shields, helmets, my friends. There's a man over there weighing silver because he does coins. And that's another thing you'll see a lot of. You see this basket here, it's full of tablet weave. This is traditional clothing and adornment for clothing making, which one of our members, Yves, makes. The crafting element's very, very prominent in our hobby. Yeah. And
how many strong are you?
Drengskaper, this weekend we have 12 members here, 10 combatants, 2 non-coms. I think Cornvii are around about the same. So at this event, I think we're about 22, 24 members, something like that.
But you talked earlier again about larger reenactments and events. Hundreds and hundreds of people coming together as well. This is a massive thing, isn't it?
The scene is big and it is growing. So there's a big reenactment scene in the UK, and there has been for a long time with medieval, with Romans, and there's been Viking Age stuff, but it's been more what's called Western, which is these are our brothers, if you like. They do a slightly different thing to what we do because they don't do the competitive combat. But their scene is strong and remains, and will go from strength to strength. But the Eastern scene, which is what we are, which describes the type of combat we do really, is growing, and a lot of it's coming over from Slavic nations. A lot of it's coming over from Polish people who've done Eastern in Poland and are now living over here, and the scene is growing, I think largely because of a real injection of interest from abroad, from Europeans coming to live in the UK, and the events are getting bigger every year. There's an event up in Dudley that we go to. We're off to Cumbria. We're off to Scotland, Slane Castle in Ireland, and these bigger events, are all getting up to 100, 150 fighters, or at least members when you include people's family members, their children, and people who are crafting. They're getting bigger and bigger. But yeah, some of the really big events are really big. Wolin is the biggest event I've been to, which, as I said, is in Poland, and it's on the Baltic coast. It's on the historic site of Jomsburg, where the Joms Vikings settled. When I fought there was over 700 warriors on the battlefield, maybe 750. It has been as much as 1,200 in previous years. But yeah, these events are getting bigger. And you'll often get 6 or 8 different groups coming from all around the UK to get together, to fight, to compete, to see who's the best team in the UK, and also to see who's the best warrior, because there are single fighting competitions. And then we often unite into bigger groups. There are UK alliances, like there's one called Nordherd, who we're with, and we get together with other groups to form Nordherd, and we go off abroad to fight foreign teams as well. Yeah, it's a big scene. Lots of people involved.
We've talked about what you do, why you do it, what you're representing, what you're celebrating and marking as well. But what about people that have inspired to maybe follow this path? What prior knowledge might they need? What experience might they need? What might they need to do? Who do they need to contact to maybe start their journey in this? Maybe they've been inspired to do so from hearing you speak today.
There are reenactment groups wherever you live in the UK. In fact, probably within Europe, but certainly wherever you live in the UK, there will likely be a reenactment group close enough to you to be able to get in contact with and go to. And if you've got no experience in combat sports, but you know something about the history, or you've got no interest in the combat sports but you're interested in crafting, if you like combat sports but you know nothing about the history, if you know nothing about any of it but are just interested, just go along to your local group. Most of the groups have an open training session. So we're based in Bristol, Drengskappa. We have an open training session on the second Saturday of every month, and it goes out on Facebook, because as these days everything is on social media. So second Saturday of every month we have an open session, and we just put a thing on Facebook saying, we have a following, people will see it, they get invited to come along. We let people train with foam weapons, and we talk about the crafts and what we do, and people either come back or they go, no, these guys are weird, don't want anything to do with that, or they go, yeah, I'm ready to invest my time and energy and money in this. And I think probably one of the good mediums, really, I would say, I actually pain to say it if I'm honest, but Facebook. If you go on Facebook and type Viking reenactment or Eastern reenactment into the search, and wherever you are, it's going to bring up a group. There are groups all over the UK.
Yeah, I wonder.
Get in contact and get along, yeah.
I wonder what Vikings would have made of the world today. Is there any similarities between the ways that we live?
That's a very interesting question. I like that. I don't like it because it's a tricky one. Are there any similarities? I had to think about that. One of the reasons I like to reenact the Viking Age is because it was a difficult time. When you look at history, people often reminisce about how much better history was. Generally, is it really true? People lived for less time. There was more disease. People had ultimate power or no power. It was in most historical periods, however much you glamorised them. If you weren't a knight in armour or a jarl, you were probably having a tough time scratching around. Life's easy these days, but there's definitely something missing. And one of the reasons I do this is to get back in touch with it. And actually, no, I can't see that many similarities between the way people lived then. And I think some of the stuff that we've lost, we could do with getting back. You touched on it earlier, or we touched on it earlier. Connection to the land and community as well, because you rely on your people around you for what they can make and what they can help you with and to help you feed your families. I think we're a little bit too isolated these days from our neighbours, and also isolated by technology. No, I can't really see that many correlations. I mean, there are still adventurers. Sure. Adventure was a big thing in the Viking Age. Sure. If you were.
And that's great, because we're not doing this for similarities. We're doing it to escape probably from something and to find something that as you said, we may have lost. My final question is: you're open here to the public when you're not sort of battling and things like that. What are some of the questions you might get asked, or some of the comments that people might make?
Is that fire real? Okay. Yeah, I've heard that one before. Yeah. Is that baby real? Yeah, that's often no. Although I have heard those questions. No, people come and they show an interest. And they ask questions, but a lot of the time people will wander around the camp and just look. We sometimes feel like a little bit like an art exhibit, and I like that. I have no issue with that. It's nice. When people watch TV and they watch, Vikings, the HBO series, I think series, which I'm not dissing at all. I loved it. It's like it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Sure. There's. A plethora of different shows, historic shows, and you get to see it, but it's never very accurate. It's fun, those things, but those shows are very rarely very accurate. People sit at home and watching TV, and I like the idea that they can come here and look and go, okay, this is interesting because it's more colourful than I thought it would be. People are wearing interesting colours. The fashions are not all black leather and blood and studs, Yeah, because that's just literally not how the people lived, They were fashionable. Vikings, the Norse, who were very fashionable people, who loved clothes, loved colour, were very clean, and so I think people like to look at it, and you get a lot of people, I think, surprised by what they see. Amazing. Yeah.
Okay. That's the end of sort of my questions, but I wondered if there's anything important that you wanted to add, or that we haven't covered, or that you think's good for people to hear, interesting for people to hear.
If you're interested in history, I've said this, but I'll just reiterate it. If you're interested in history and you want to come and immerse in what we do, don't be afraid, don't be shy. So many friendly people who have a similar interest, and if you want to, we fight, which a lot of people are into, and if that's not your thing, that doesn't exclude you. There's plenty of other things to do, and we're always, not just our group, all groups, I could say, are welcoming new people. Take that step, get involved, come and be part of one of the coolest scenes in the UK, really. Yeah, that's what I would say.
NEWSWAVE. Right, I'm Tom Howe, and you're listening to a special edition of NEWSWAVE on Chaos Radio as we bring you the best bits from the 30th anniversary edition of the Cornish Mini Club's famous Riviera Run at Pentewan. Of course, no Chaos road trip would be complete without being joined live on air by some excellent guests. Here's some of our favourite moments from the Saturday and Sunday broadcasts, including chats with some amazing local organisations and some visitors from further afield too. NEWSWAVE.
It's still so busy here across the show today. It's so lovely to see so many people coming out and spending some time with us down at Pentewan Sands today. I mean, they've not come for us, Chaos Radio, they've come for the minis, but it's so great to see it. So busy today, and I know the organisers are going to be very, very pleased as well. And there's lots of smiles, which is always good. Now, Mia, you've got some special guests to talk to.
Yeah, and talking of smiles, I have met the friendliest bunch of mini enthusiasts ever. They're from Mini Girls UK, which I love the sound of, and I'm here with Lindsay and Charlie. Good afternoon to you both.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for chatting to me. I know you're busy here this weekend enjoying the Cornish Mini Club Riviera Run yourself, but tell me a little bit more about Mini Girls UK.
We've been running for 5 years now. We've got a Facebook group which has got 20,000 members. And we've got a really good bunch of this lot who come up and down the country everywhere, every mini event basically. Yeah, we go to this one, we do all the other ones, the Brands Hatch, Himley Hall, Stamford, all the big mini events. And yeah, we're a friendly bunch of people.
You really are, and I was drawn to you because I saw your incredible mini that you brought here. If I was going to pick my favourite kind of girly mini, it would definitely be that one. Can you talk me through the mini that you've got?
Well, my daughter here, it's her birthday on Tuesday, she's 21, and for her 17th birthday I bought her that car, and she didn't want it.
Oh no, she's throwing you under the bus now, isn't she? Yeah.
So I decided it's been paid for, it's taxed and insured, and I was just going to make it a bit mental. And it's a bit of an advert for the club and what we do. And it's all been DIY just by me.
And have you always loved minis, or is this like a newer kind of love for you?
No, I've always liked minis, yeah. My first car, I've still got it. It's a bit broken, but it's all right, yeah. And I'm keeping it forever, although Mark's not happy about that, yeah. And I just love them. The old classics, the new ones, I love them all.
And tell me what you love about being part of something like Mini Girls UK.
I think it's just, we accept everyone, no matter what, like no matter what your background is. I mean, we've helped so many people in awful situations to sort of get over that and help them get through it. And it's essentially just created a very large family across the country, that everyone's sort of got someone to rely on and someone who, there's always a shoulder there to cry on or smile with. And it's just a giant, crazy, bit manic family, basically.
Well, that's what I really like, because obviously the main focus is minis, but then you've created this whole family and community around that, and it is really far and wide, isn't it? Where's the furthest you come from today?
That'll be Angie over there, who's come from Carlisle. She had to do a stopover in Sheffield, and then headed back down. I think she left at 5 o'clock from Sheffield with Mark and Lindsay, and headed down, and we all got in between 8 and 11.
Anya, you're a trooper. I know you're hiding from the microphone, but well done.
Everywhere. She goes absolutely everywhere with us. Come here, Anya. Come here.
Anya, come on. How was that trip down? Was it quite the ride?
It was okay, yeah.
It's so lovely to have you here today. How many hours did it take you to get here?
From my house down to Lynn's was 5 hours, and then from Lynn's down to here was another 5 hours, so 10 hours in total.
Okay, can anyone beat 10 hours? Come and see us at the stage, Chaos Radio, if you can beat 10 hours. Anya, thank you so much for coming. And obviously we're surrounded by minis here, all shapes and sizes. I know you've got a gorgeous one yourself, but has anything caught your eye so far?
Oh, there is a wooden classic, which is quite, I don't think we've seen that before. It's very unique. And there's a Rattler mini. Yeah, we're all up for a bit of cider, and yeah, it's quite nice on.
Yes, the Rattler one is just there, and if the mini is anything like the Rattler, it will go forever for sure. Thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's so nice to see this family and community that you've built. If anyone is interested in finding out more, or maybe even taking part, what should they do?
They can either find us on Facebook, Instagram, or just come over and have a word and we'll talk you through it.
Amazing. And what's on for the rest of the weekend then?
Hopefully not more drinking. These lot last night. Oof.
Again, she's throwing you under the bus again, guys, but it sounds like you've had such a good weekend. And if I was going to join any group, it would be this one. I'm sorry, you're not meant to have favourites, but the Mini Girls UK have come out loud and proud here. So thank you so much, all of you. Can we get a cheer from you all? Because there's a lot of you. Go on, ready? 3, 2, 1.
NEWSWAVE.
We are live from Pentewan Sands as part of the Riviera Run, 30th annual Riviera Run. Fantastic. We are having a nice chat with lots of different people already today. Great to see some familiar faces from last year as well. And there's so many minis as far as I can see, which is just beautiful in the sunshine. Morning, Mia Howlett.
Good morning, Nathan Hunkin. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I love it when the gang all get together because normally we're just ships in the night, aren't we, with our shows?
Yes, very much so. And it is so lush here today. I thought it was going to be cloudy, but apparently not.
You've brought the sunshine. Is that you taking the credit for that?
Oh, go on then. Yeah, I brought it with me.
You've got a familiar face to Chaos Radio with you now?
Yes, friend of Chaos, the lovely John Vine. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm brilliant. It was lovely to see your stall here. I know the Restormel Friends group are so active in our community, especially at these events. And I think you were just telling me just a bit before there, as we were having a boogie to the song, that you've got an event every weekend this summer, nearly.
Yeah, so the Friends group we support as volunteers, the hospice, particularly Little Harbour down at Porthpean. And we go along to events like the CMC Mini Run and have our stall, promote the hospice, have a little bit of a tombola, raise a bit of cash, and just generally spread the word. But yeah, every weekend, going from next bank holiday, the end of May, right through to the end of June, we'll be out and around Cornwall, meeting people and having a great time, basically, and raising some very important funds.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're such a lovely bunch of volunteers, always a friendly face at these events, but there's quite important work that you talk about as well that the hospice do. What is it like to be at these events and kind of spread awareness about the vital work they do?
Well, it's really important because although the hospice at Little Harbour has been there for many years, it's one of those difficult things. People don't want to have to use it, but when it's there, it's always there as a really vital service. And just to make people aware of what they are, what they do, and how they can support people in really desperate times of need sometimes. So at the moment, we're supporting, or the hospices in total, supporting about 524 babies, children, and young people who've got life-debilitating illnesses. And then also importantly, looking after the parents and their siblings as well, so they can come and stay at the hospice and have a bit of a break from that home life as well, which is really important.
And like you said, it's something we don't really talk about until we really do need it. But that's so many families that are affected in this area, and they do so much amazing work. And of course, all of that is underpinned by a lot of fundraising throughout the year. Can you tell us about some of the initiatives that are coming up this year that we can support?
Yeah, so as an example, it costs just under £4 million to run Little Harbour alone. So we as volunteers, we support kind of some of the smaller opportunities in the events. And the fundraising team have their main ones. So coming up on the 21st of June is the Rainbow Run over at St Morgan, which is a brilliant event. Go along, it's a 5k run, and you get messed up in lots of different colours of paint and bits and pieces. Then there's also the Ride for Precious Lives, which is a cycle ride, which is departing again from Little Harbour, goes to the other two hospices, ending up in Bristol. That's the 31st of July. And then moving on into the winter months, which we don't want to talk about yet, when there's beautiful sunshine, but there's a Heligan Moonlight Memory Walk again. So those are the three main events. And as I say, because the fundraising team are tied up on them, as an example, a local one we'll be doing on the 21st of June, when the Rainbow Run is on, we'll be at the Lankelly Shout over at Foy. So same kind of setup, just promoting things and making people aware, and it's really great. And we'll be at some of the local steam rallies and bits and pieces as well over those weekends and having a great time.
Yeah, and as you said, some of this work, it just wouldn't happen if there weren't such a great bunch of volunteers like yourself. Why do you take your time to volunteer and to give your time to this cause?
Well, it's important, and it's kind of it's a cause very dear to my wife and my heart. So we support it after many, many years, and it's just, there's lots and lots of really good charities that all need support. Everybody is trying to raise money for their own kind of favourite charity, for want of a better word, and just the Children's Hospice is one that's, like I say, is dear to our own hearts, so that's why we support it. And there are many other Fens groups right throughout Cornwall, so we're just one of maybe half a dozen or 10 into Cornwall and also into Devon as well, so everybody is just doing it because they can see the worthwhileness of supporting the hospice, really.
Yeah, they're doing their bit in the community. And I know you wear many hats, John. Another event, which feels like it will just be right around the corner with summer here, is the Sticker Rally. I imagine you're quite busy organising that at the moment?
Yeah, that's right. It's 3 months this weekend. So the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of August will be Sticker Vintage Rally. And yeah, plans are well underway. We've got lots of good, exciting things lined up this year. And if I can, I'll mention our 3 main charities this year are the Hugs Foundation, Penalligan's Friends, and also East Cornwall Search and Rescue. So we're going to be supporting those 3 charities and looking forward to a great weekend.
And we're looking forward to it too, because we will be joining you again at Sticker Rally. Really looking forward to that. What can maybe people expect? You know, they're here for the minis this weekend, but there's so much on offer here in Cornwall, especially at the rally. There's so many different vehicles and things to get excited about.
So yeah, we've got a huge range of vintage vehicles, so tractors, motor cars, motorbikes, lorries, all those kind of things. And then we also have a craft fair, so there'll be lots of people there in the big marquee. We've got entertainment, lots of local singing groups, so we've got Cornish Connection, we've got the St Mewan Community Choir, got a fantastic barbecue which our volunteers put on, which is not to be missed. And on the Friday night in the marquee we have Johnny Cowlin and Jailhouse performing, so that's going to be good. And as a first off this year, Saturday night, we're going to do rock and roll bingo, which it's just like bingo, but it's to music, and it's a real cracking night. So we're hoping lots of people will come along and support us.
Oh, that just sounds brilliant, John. And I'm sure a lot of people that are drawn to events like this will be drawn to yours as well at Sticker Rally. So best of luck with all of that. And the best of luck with this weekend. Shall we, fingers crossed, this weather stays around?
Let's hope so. I think it's going to be good, yeah. So the rest of the weekend will be brilliant, and we're looking forward to it and looking forward to meeting lots of lovely people. And thanks for asking me to come and speak.
NEWSWAVE.
Pete, where are you, please?
Hiding. Where else would I be?
You've run off. It's lunchtime soon, so he'll be scoping his options, I suppose.
No, I almost went a bit Homer Simpson as a pizza. Yeah, that's great. No, I am here out amongst the minis with Angie Banks from the St Austell branch of the RNLI. So, Angie, just tell us a bit quickly. First of all, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for nearly 30 years. Next year will be my 30 years. And if you're asking me for another 30 years, I don't think I'll be here in 30 years.
Beat me to it. So you've been doing it for 30 years, so it must be something you really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do, yeah. Although not so much at the moment, because it's getting a bit technical, all of this, and I'm not up to this modern technical, as I will tell you. But at any rate...
Are you more of a sort of a shake a tin person and say, give us your money?
Yes, that's me, definitely. We have a souvenir stall and a tombola stall over there. And I'd also like to say that tomorrow, hopefully, all being well, the lifeboat will be coming over for a demo at about 11:30.
So this lifeboat is coming from where?
This lifeboat is coming from Foy. And she's a Trent lifeboat called the Morris and Joyce Hardy. She also might bring a rib with her. I don't know yet whether the both are coming. If she brings a rib, she's called Olive, and Olive can come up onto the sand.
Right, so Olive will be the skinny boat.
Yeah, that's what I call a dinghy, but the official is rib.
Yes.
And if she does come on the shore, then children will be able to get on her and have their photograph taken with her, which is ideal, what the kids love. I can't think of anything. Yes, she's at Foy. And, of course, as you can imagine now, the RNLI are gearing up for a busy season. As we know, we call it the silly season.
Everybody calls it the silly season here.
We get the paddle boarders and, all the silly dogs, people going in to rescue their dogs, and 9 times out of 10, the RNLI has to rescue the person as well as the dog.
So I presume they've been training a lot during the winter already for the summer.
They do training every week. That's normally on a Sunday.
So the RNLI, it's a national organisation.
Yes.
And it costs an awful lot of money.
A real, I can't tell you the figures off the top of my head, but it's a considerable amount of money.
So local fundraising, like yourselves, is really important.
It is, yeah. And the new boat, the all-weather boat, now costs $2.5 million.
Which is not peanuts.
No. But they're tending to use the ribs a lot more, which is a lovely, lovely boat, but it's a lot cheaper, and most of our rescues now are within 10 miles of the shore.
So it's actually faster?
Yeah, faster.
Lighter, cheaper?
35 knots as opposed to the big boats, 25 knots.
Which makes a huge difference in the time of getting to the casualty.
Yeah, and more manoeuvrability.
Yeah.
You know, she can get in where the big boat can't get in.
Yep. Shallower draft, so
that's it,
less water, get in.
Yeah, lot better.
So your organisation as a branch...
Yeah, we're a little branch.
Committee run, though.
A little forgotten branch.
Nothing's forgotten.
We're inland. People tend to forget we're there because St Austell, Mevagissey's got a shop, and Foyer's got a shop, and of course they're on the sea, aren't they?
And of course you get all the tourists coming down there.
Exactly, yeah. But
not so much in St Austell.
No. But we do raise over 20,000 a year.
Not to be sniffed at.
No. For an inland branch, I think that's pretty good.
I think that's absolutely superb.
Yeah.
How many people do you have then involved in your little fundraising
in my committee,
organisation?
I have about 10. 8 or 10, not so many now. And of course, the trouble is we're all retired.
But are you looking for new people and young blood to come
desperately looking for people, preferably under the age of 100.
Okay. Well, that's got to be a good thing.
Well, yeah.
So, how can people get in touch with you? Can they come and see you somewhere, or do they need to write to you?
Yeah, they can see you. They can go into a shop in Foy or in Mevagissey. They'll give them my name and address, and they can contact me through there.
Right.
So no problem.
Or is there a web address or somewhere we can find you? I know you don't like the technology.
I know, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Do you? No.
Oh, we'll find out. We'll find out and let you know.
It's Chris. You've got to write it down. You've got uppercase, lowercase, and all this type of thing.
I have to write everything down.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's one of those things.
Yeah.
So demonstration tomorrow, all being well.
All being well.
Presumably, as long as there's not a shout and the weather's good.
Yeah, they haven't got a shout and the weather's good.
Then hopefully we'll get to see the lifeboats here. It would be good to see the rib as well, I have to say.
It will, yeah.
But Foy are actually changing, aren't they?
Yes, Foy are changing.
From the big boat to the rib.
To the rib, yeah. In quite soon, actually. So this year will probably be the last chance to see the big one coming over. The Trent coming over will probably be their last one. It'll be our last visit on it this year.
And I think another thing that a lot of people either forget or don't realise is that the majority of the lifeguards are actually RNLI
lifeguards
as well.
And the lifeboat crew, yes.
It's not just the lifeboats.
90% are. 90%, yeah.
And they rescue a lot of people down here every summer.
Yeah. They give up the lifeboat crew or volunteers, So the lifeguards are paid, but the lifeboat crew are voluntary. Some of the lifeguards are voluntary. It's a bit of each with the lifeguards.
They need to be there.
Because they obviously have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I can understand.
Yeah, and their busiest lifeboat station, believe it or not, is on the River Thames.
Yeah. I believe it.
That's the busiest one of the lot.
Yes, well, I imagine there's some rather expensive boats going up and down there, driven by people who probably don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So always important to get
people
well trained.
falling in the river owing to too much,
imbibing. We know, we know that one. So hopefully tomorrow then, about 11:30?
Yep, about 11:30. All being
11:30
well.
We'll see them.
Yep, okay.
Nath, you looking forward to seeing the boat?
Yeah. Absolutely. We didn't get a chance to see it last year, so I'm really excited. And fingers crossed, the weather's looking good as well. So if they've got a quiet day, that's going to be a right spectacle to see.
It's brilliant. Thank you, Angie.
Okay, thank you.
NEWSWAVE. Okay, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to the Cornish Mini Club and each of their partners and supporters, as well as all you wonderful mini owners. You really outdid yourselves this year, and we're already looking forward to seeing what 2026 has in store. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it, you're up to date here on Chaos. I'm Tom Howe.
NEWSWAVE. Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.